Sit alert. Look at yourself. Look within. And try to differentiate between alertness versus thought process. That is the flow of thoughts. Alertness, which is same as the watchfulness, or simply the awareness, versus the chatter of the mind. This distinction, this discrimination. You may work on this discrimination. The awareness or the alertness is Atma, now and here. That is Atma. Whereas the thought process, also called mind, sometimes called the inner organ, antahkarana, is anatma. It is the non-self. Meaning it is not myself. Atma anatma viveka, the discrimination. The most crucial lesson that I have to learn. How do I learn this lesson? By looking at myself, by looking within, and by guiding myself, myself guiding myself. That is how I learn this lesson. The alertness, or same as the awareness, I am aware, versus the flow of thoughts. The awareness is Atma. The flow of thoughts is anatma. This discrimination, the most crucial. All the opposites are in the thought process, none in the awareness. Like good or evil is part of the thought process. Meaning, certain thoughts are considered good, certain other thoughts are deemed bad. Whereas in awareness, no such opposites. Neither good nor bad. How to describe it? It is what it is. It is what it is. That is Atma. That is myself. Versus the thought process. To make this discrimination very real, the trick is be a witness to the thought process. I witness the movement of the mind. Normally, I identify with the movement of the mind, but then I become alert and witness the movement of the mind. That establishes viveka. That is the trick. Try to watch the movement of the mind, whatever the movement. Try to watch. That is enough. As you do that, you establish yourself as the witness, which is the Atma. So this is the inner game, if you will. I make myself the witness by trying to watch the movement of the mind. You may name this as viveka abhyasa, the practice of discrimination. It is not difficult. In fact, it is fun, very amusing. In trying to see what the mind is doing. Pleasure and pain. A critical pair of opposites, pleasure and pain. They squarely belong to the thought process. None in the pure awareness. That is the meaning of the word pure. In the awareness, no pleasure, no pain. Whereas the thought process generates pleasure as well as pain. That is the discrimination. Viveka abhyasa. Finally, the person, the ego, is squarely in the thought process. The awareness has nothing to do with the person or the ego. This is a critical discrimination, meaning the awareness, I am aware, is impersonal. Whereas the me, the ego, which is the person, is entirely in the thought process. Therefore, I am a person only by mistake, by error of understanding, error of judgment. Whereas in my true self, I am impersonal awareness. The knowing element which is not a person. That is what I am. The impersonal light of knowingness. Atma jyotihi. I am the impersonal light of the knowingness. Aham Atma Jyotihi. I am the inner light. The light that illuminates the thought process, the eyes and ears, the body and the world. That light, I am. Ahamasmi. Relax. Sit at ease. Keep the eyes closed and relax. Now you may open the eyes slowly. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shrutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram evaṃ nirantarābhyastā brahmaivāsmīti vāsanā haratyavidyāvikṣepān rogāniva rasāyanam. Aham Brahma asmi iti vāsanā. Vāsanā is the samskara. Don't take it in the wrong sense, okay? Quite often it is used in the wrong sense, but not here. There are a few occasions where vāsanā means Samskara, deep-rooted impression, that is the vasana. Vasa, dhatu is vasa. You know, there are many words which come from vasa. Like Vasu Devatas are there, you know. That comes from vasa. Nivasa, the house in which you live, that is called nivasaha. Ni is upasarga. That comes from vasa. And the deep-rooted impression, something which is fixated in your mind, that is called vāsanā, comes from vasa. When something is sitting in your head, nobody can dislodge it. It is fixated in the head. That is called vāsanā, coming from vasa. Generally used in the wrong sense, but sometimes used in the right sense also. Because whatever is fixed in the mind, mostly it is wrong. That's why vasana is wrong. But sometimes it can be the right one also. So that's why here it is the right one. So what you have to do is, you have to assess yourself correctly all the time. You have to look at yourself and assess yourself correctly all the time. Once the truth of yourself gets well established in yourself, what is called a nishtha, once that is well established, then this constant assessing of oneself the right way, it becomes natural and spontaneous. An example is given. You and I, we do not say all the time, I am a human being, I am a human being, I am a human being. We do not say that. Because that has become natural to us. Natural, spontaneous. I need not remind myself I am a human being. Suppose there are people who do not look at themselves as human beings. They look at themselves as caste, creed, race, religion, like that. They look at themselves. You see, it is a very powerful, strong impression in the mind. It is there in Hindu society, like Brahmana, etc. They do not look at themselves as human beings. Manushya, they don't say. They say Brahmana. And you have a similar tendency in Christendom also. A good Christian. He is a good Christian. Not a good human being. A good Christian. And there are some, that is used like that. In some of the novels of Alexander Dumas. You know, Alexander Dumas is a black guy, black man. He is from France, but people think that he is a white man. He is not a white man, he is a black man. So anyway, that is not the point. He emphasizes so much on the Christendom. So if somebody is doing a wrong thing, what are you doing? Being a good Christian, you cannot do that. It becomes difficult. That is how people are. They do not look at themselves as human being. Very rarely you come across a human being. Like one Mahatma used to say, you don't find any Indian in India. To find Indians, you have to take a flight and go outside India, either to Europe or London or America. You come here, there are many Indians. But go to India, you don't find any Indians. You find Punjabis, Madrasis, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Congress people, BJP people, all people you find except Indians. In fact, that Mahatma wrote an essay, There Are No Indians in India. That is the name of the essay. He wrote a big essay on that topic. Therefore, this is how people have fixated themselves into categories. And they have to tell themselves, no, that is not how things are. I am a human being. They have to tell themselves that. Even that is necessary to tell. And in Brahma Sutra, the Badarayana has made a sutra to that extent. He made a sutra. This Shastra which I am presenting in the form of sutras, sutra is an aphorism, only human beings are eligible for this. Why should he say that? Is he excluding animals? You don't exclude animals. Prasaktasyeva nishedhaha. Unless animals become relevant, you don't dismiss them. Animals are not relevant. Animals are not coming to study the Shastra. So you need not dismiss animals. Okay, you got the point. So the point is, human beings alone are eligible for this Shastra. That's why when Mahatma used to say, Vedanta, only a human being is eligible for Vedanta. Therefore, how do you look at yourself? I look at myself as a Brahmana, then Vedanta is not for you. You go and do some karma, you go and do. Because a set of karmas are mandated for a Brahmana. You consider yourself a Brahmana, go and do that. It is like people introduce themselves, I am a businessman. He is a businessman before his wife also. And wife reminds, why do you behave like a businessman before me? Like that she reminds. So before me you are not a businessman, you cannot be a businessman. Then what should I be before you? You should be a husband before me. So like that people want to fix one slot for themselves and fix in that slot. This is the vāsanā. You fix in that, even if you are suddenly woken up from sleep, you wake up like that, I am a businessman. Or I am a Brahmana, like that. That is how people wake up. So this is the deep-seated impression that got printed in the mind. That is the vāsanā. You have to erase it. You have to erase it. It may take some time. You may not be able to erase that easily. Because people are accustomed to self-definitions. They define themselves in a particular way. Aham brahmanaha. So many people do that. Aham brahmanaha. You ask me why? Why are you a brahmana? He says, my parents are brahmana. That is all he says. That is all the evidence that he has. For being a brahmana, you show me the evidence. He will show the parents' photograph. That is the evidence. So what kind of an evidence it is? And you go and ask the parents, they will say their parents' name. And how far it will go? Backwards, how far it will go? You see, it will go 4 or 5 generations. Beyond that it cannot go. You see, suppose your family name, people have family name, last name, what they call here. The last name, you can fix a time for that, the last name. Like, suppose there is a town called, there is one person's name, last name is Calcutta. Sardar Singh Calcutta, that is his name, you must be knowing it. Singh, so-and-so Singh Longoval. Don't you know? So Kartar Singh Longoval. Sardar Singh Calcutta. In all Telugu names end up like that. All Telugu names. They end with, the last name is the name of a town. That is the last name. Therefore, that means you have come from that town, or maybe your ancestors have come from that town. Now you know when the town is registered, you can know. The town was not, Hiranyagarbha did not create the town. Like when we go for a cup of coffee in Salisbury, we pass through a town called Bath. And there he puts a board, Bath, registered in 1825. Not registered, they use some other name for it. Incorporated in 1825. Means suppose your name is Mr. Johnson Bath, suppose your name. And what is this Bath? That town Bath. Our ancestors came from Bath. Means your history goes back by 200 years. Before that you are not bad. So, our house name is Bhagavatula. Somebody said like a house name is Bhagavatula, belonging to Bhagavata. Bhagavata is a book. Then I asked him, oh, that is the house name. So it must have been taken from the text Bhagavata. He said yes. And then he added, our great-great-grandfather was a scholar of Bhagavata, and from then on it came Bhagavatula. Therefore, you can trace your ancestry up to a few generations. You cannot trace it up to Hiranyagarbha. You got it? Therefore, this Brahmana is also like that. You got the point? But if you say I am a human being, you can trace it all the way to much earlier. Right? So, what are you? Are you a Brahmana or are you a human being? That is the point. So, you should expand your consciousness. So, aham Brahmana, it's okay. You see, aham so-and-so, aham Mr. Swami. That is very physical person. But you expand the consciousness, saying aham Brahmana. Means from a physical person, you have expanded to include the community. Brahmana is more expansive than Mr. So-and-so, right? You have already expanded. You expand a little more logical expansion. I am a human being. That is the best possible expansion to begin with. I am a human being. In saying I am a human being, you become one with all. Of course, animals are still excluded, but at least you have become one with all. Irrespective of, as I quite often say, irrespective of caste, creed, race, religion, region, etc. So you expand yourself. So Vedanta is the Shastra of expansion. So you have to decide which Shastra you want to study. You see, we used to do calculus. And for one semester we have done differentiation. 1 semester, 5 months differentiation. Okay? All kinds of functions we take and differentiate. The differentiation has gone into the blood. The semester is over, good marks, with good marks graduated, came out, and next semester we started. Now integration. This integration is a reverse it is. It is reverse. Suppose you take x square, differentiation 2x. Okay? But so that is gone into the blood. Now you have to do integration. X square. It is not 2x, it is x cubed by 3. So we have to rejig the entire brain structure and put it in the reverse direction and gradually grow into integration. Even today, differentiation is easy, integration is difficult. After all these years, differentiation is child's play. Integration is tough. So now, are you a student of differentiation or integration? In Vedanta, integration. In Karma Kanda, you are not a student of integration. You are a student of differentiation. That's why they don't mix. Now I have reached a point, I am saying this for many decades now, they don't mix like water and oil. Differentiation is in the eastern direction, integration is in the west. Purva Samudra, Paschima Samudra. In Shankara's words, they don't mix. So in Vedanta, what are you? In Karmakanda, the approach is exactly opposite. I am so and so, Bharadvajasa Gotraha. So I'm not, there are 1,000 Gotras. I belong to this particular Gotra. And there are 10,000 Rishis. I belong to this particular Rishi. Like that, you particularize. You define yourself narrower and narrower and narrower. That is how you define yourself. That is differentiation. That is the ritual section of the Vedas. Whereas in Vedanta, you have to expand and expand and expand. How far you have to expand? The day one you come to study Vedanta, you must have expanded to the status of a human being. No, not yet. We are not yet human beings. Then what are you? We are Hindus. Then go and expand and come. We are Brahmanas. Go and do some karma. Vedanta not for you. This is expansion. So, people want to define themselves into narrower and narrower slots. And we suggest that is samsara. All problems arise in people's lives because they define themselves and therefore limit themselves to this or that. I am this or I am that. In defining, you are limiting yourself to either this or that. That is limit. In fact, before starting differentiation, we study limits. One chapter is there, limits. And from limits, all differentiation comes. Okay? So you limit yourself. Means you break yourself into pieces. Differentiate yourself. How far it will go? It will go up to infinitesimally small. That is how far people define themselves. Very sad. That is not the process required for Vedanta. You have to start the process of integration. In fact, we say, what all conflicts that you have in your life, all conflicts, are there only because you have defined yourself. Suppose you have a conflict with your grown-up son because you have defined yourself as the father. You have a conflict with your spouse because you have defined yourself as I am the husband, the Indian classical husband. Something like that. Okay. In India, we have this conflict between Hindus and Muslims. It is going on before independence and after. Now also it is going on. Even now it is going on back in India. Even now, today, it is going on. Something are there. Because we do not define ourselves as Indians. We define ourselves as Hindus, Muslims, etc. Therefore, whenever you define yourself, you feel good about it. I am this, I am that. People feel good and also proud. And they feel fulfilled. And so, then immediately, the moment you define yourself, you have created conflict in your life. And you live with that conflict. Why don't you be simple? Definition is complex. Means you have made yourself very complex. The more and more you define yourself, the more and more you become complex, the more and more you become conflicted. That is the route. Whereas, why should you define yourself? Why? Why not be a simple human being? Just be a simple human being. You know what will happen? All conflict will come to an end. All conflict. There will be no conflict left. So what happens is, when you identify with the body, you have squeezed yourself into the space of the body. And when you identify with mind, you squeeze yourself into the duration of time, birth and death. So, So you are now identified with the volume of the body. As you identify with the body, so you are squeezed to the volume of the body, and then to the duration of time, mind that is. This is how, in defining yourself, in differentiating, this is called differentiation. Define is same as differentiation. Spellings are different, okay? So you have differentiated yourself, so thereby creating innumerable conflicts of life. All conflicts of life are there only in the minds of those people who have defined themselves, differentiated themselves, and isolated themselves. It is the same process. Define, differentiate, isolate. It is called isolation syndrome. It is a name given to it. In Vedanta, you isolated syndrome. That is how people live. You see, when Brahmana Samaradhana is going on, you know what is Brahmana Samaradhana? Means all Brahmanas have assembled and performed a big puja or whatever. And what is the important item in a puja context? Food. That is the important item. Therefore, even while puja is going on here, morning 7 onwards, food is getting prepared there. And so the cooks have come, special cooks, Brahmana cooks only. They come, and all the groceries and vegetables, etc., fruits and everything was brought in good quantity. The food is being prepared, puja is going on, food is prepared. By the time puja is over, food is ready. And then they sit in lines and serve food, right? One Muslim saw from a distance. This gourmet food is there, and that fragrance of the cooked food, very nice food, that's Hyderabadi biryani, vegetarian only. So it has struck his nose, and he felt like these Brahmanas, he knows the Brahmana community very well, he worked in that community. These Brahmanas eat very nice food. How nice would it be if I join and eat food along with them? He was also hungry. Then it occurred to me, why not try? So he went somewhere and found a white dhoti and a white tariya, upper cloth, and got some ashes. Ashes can be obtained anywhere, and put thick ashes on the face and hands and all that. And I came and joined the crowd and sat in the line. And food is being served, he is enjoying. It starts with pappu, dal, ghee, and pickle, and then sambar, etc. He is enjoying. Then that side is a Brahmana, this side is a Brahmana, in between Muslim. This Brahmana asked him, what is your name? While eating. He said, some Subarna Shastri. He was intelligent enough to tell some Brahmana name. Oh, is it? Then, which Shakha you are? Among the Brahmanas, many Shakhas are there. The Muslim was a bit shaken, but he regained his composure and told, he heard somewhere, Niyogi, he said. You find it only in South India. That too in Andhra. Andhra and Telangana. You don't find in North Indian Brahmins, this group will not be there. There will be another group there, Niyogi. Then the other side Brahmana asked him, oh, very good. He is also a Niyogi. Okay? So he was very amused, happy that he is another Niyogi is sitting beside him. And he asked, oh, is it? Which Niyogi? He asked. Means among Niyogis, there are two varieties. 6,000 Niyogi, 3,000 Niyogi. That is, they are the names. 6,000, 3,000, 6,000, 3,000 Niyogi. Which Niyogi? The Muslim kept quiet. He did not answer any question. He was eating bure or something. Then that man's curiosity got up. And he asked, 3,000 or 6,000, he asked. Then this Muslim blurted out, अल्लाह इसमें भी फर्क है. You got the meaning? Oh Allah, नियोगी में भी फर्क है, ऐसा ऐसा फर्क है. That is what he blurted out. That is the story. You got the story? So you want to define and define and define, cut, horizontally, vertically. That is not Vedanta method. That is Karmakanda method. So go and do some karma. Why do you want to Ātmabodhaḥ? Here it is integration. You have to expand. Means you have to stop defining yourself altogether. In doing so, you will get out of all kinds of conflicts. You know, suppose, I am telling you, suppose a Swami declares, I am the Guru. That is what every Swami does. I am the Guru. Right away, he enters into countless conflicts. You know that? Endless conflicts. Conflict after conflict after conflict. Suppose the same gentleman says, here is the text coming from Shankara and other places. This Swami happens to know some Sanskrit, better Sanskrit than you and the other person. And I don't have any other worthwhile job to do. If you sit, I will share whatever I know. And then you can learn and make the best out of it for yourself. And after the end of it, they will give some food to you and to me. Both of us, somebody else will give food. And so eat that food and go your way, I go my way. Na gurur na shishyaha. That is what Shankara did. Shankara did exactly the same thing. Na gurur na shishyaha. Suppose you do that, then what will you have any single conflict at all? There will be no conflict. No, somebody needs some help. You can do it still. You can spontaneously help somebody. You need some help. You can take it also. To do help, you need not be a guru. And to get help, you need not be a guru. Even that definition, guru definition, the ultimate, even that is dismissed. You do not define yourself in one way or the other. Then what happens, you become free from the conflicts of life. And you become free from the opposites of life, like birth and death. You are free from birth and death. Because you do not define yourself based on identification with the body, so you are free from birth and death. You know what they say? In Indian villages, when somebody dies, if he is a Brahmana, the corpse goes to one cremation ground, and if he is a Shudra, the corpse goes to another burial ground. The corpse also has a caste. Can you believe it? This is bad. This is in every society, but it seems to be a bit more serious in Indian society. That's why Hindu Dharma has to pay a price for all this differentiation. Therefore, you don't move in the direction of differentiation. You move in the direction of expansion. You do it always. You wash out the wrong vasanas of differentiation. Generate the right vasanas of integration. And you have to do it on a daily basis, day to day, hour to hour and minute to minute. Nirantarābhyastā. You have to do that. So, you see, you cannot be rid of problems without abandoning illusions. You want to keep all the illusions in place, but you want to get rid of problems. So you fight with your spouse and create a problem for yourself, and now a guru has to remove your problem, but in a way that you still continue to fight with your spouse. And the guru is ready for it. That is another problem. So, unless you rid yourself of illusions, you cannot rid yourself of problems of life. You get rid of all illusions, and you rise above all definitions, misleading definitions. All definitions are like that. So you expand your consciousness. All the time, expand your consciousness. This is what, you see, Hindu Dharma, the Upanishadic vision, stands for expansion. That is what unity in diversity, where from it has come. It has come from Upanishads. Unity in diversity. So, you look at the Gita. So, Sattvikam Jnanam, Rajasam Jnanam. This is a wonderful, wonderful definition that Sri Krishna gives. Jnana means your thinking, your understanding. You look at things and understand. You look at things and understand that in spite of differences, all is one. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu, vibhaktam eva cha sthitam. The real is one in all. It appears as though it is divided, but it is really not divided. That is the understanding. That is how you understand. That is called Sattvikam Jnanam. I do not remember the entire verse. Then come to Rajasa Jnana, Pruthaktvaena. You say, oh, he is Brahmana, he is Kshatriya, he is Indian, he is American, he is a Britisher, he is German, he is a Dutchman. Like that you differentiate. And Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, like that you differentiate. South Indian, North Indian, Punjabi, Madrasi. In everywhere you see division. This is called Rajasam Jnanam. This is something amazing. Therefore, the way you understand, the way you look at things itself is not the same. There is no fixed way. This is the way you have to look at. It is not like that. It depends upon the vāsanā. It depends upon what you are inside. Inside you are broken to pieces. You are divided inside. Then you see all divisions outside. And inside you are integrated. You see the real outside. Therefore, this process of disintegration, division, has to be arrested, and it has to be the opposite process of integration has to be carefully cultivated. That is the line. Nirantarābhyastā vāsanā. You see, one body is different from every other body. All the bodies are different from each other. But the embodied, are you the body or are you the embodied? You are the embodied. Bodies may be different, but the embodied need not be different. In fact, it is not different. It is like electricity. You see, this example used to be given by great Mahatmas. There is a city of billion lights, like New York, a city of billion lights, but the electricity grid is one. That is one. It's called Con Ed. That is its name. It is one. What is this Con Ed? I don't know. There must be something. That is one. Grid is one. Grids are not many. Similarly, because the bulbs are many, light is one, electricity is one. You have to see the one in many. That is Sattvikam Jnanam. The person, an uneducated person, illiterate person and an electrical engineer, what is the difference between the two? The uneducated, illiterate person, he sees different bulbs, only that much he sees. Whereas an electrical engineer sees one electricity in all of them. Is it not so? Therefore, that is how similarly, the bodies are different, but the embodied need not be different, is not different. This is the tough part of Vedanta. This is the tough part. you have to visualize that what I am and what he is, what she is, what somebody else is, the same self, the same reality. That has to be realized. That is the tough part of it. That's why there is a nice name for it. It is called Sarvatma Bhava. And then people talk of moksha, not knowing really what it is. They give big lectures about moksha. And they also claim, I have moksha with me, I can give it to you. How can it be? Moksha is not a piece of property to be given to somebody. If you understand moksha clearly, it is already with you. You know what is moksha? Shankara defines. These people do not pay attention to Shankara. That is the misfortune. Shankara defines Sarvatma Bhavakhyo Mokshaha. Very simple. You expand your consciousness to include the entire universe. That is the level of expansion. In the limits chapter, limit function x, x tending towards infinity. That is the expansion we are talking about. So you have to expand to the infinite, means to include the entire universe. That is the expansion. My consciousness includes the entire universe. That is the truth if you pay attention. That is the truth. But people got fixed in the untruth, and therefore we request or we suggest you expand. Therefore, the embodied is not the same as the body. They are of different orders. Body is limited in space and time. The embodied is timeless and spaceless. Timeless and spaceless. Spaceless means you go billions of miles, then it is spaceless. Not like that. Timeless means you flow in the flow of time billions of years, that is timeless. No. Spaceless means the parameter space, which is the name and form kind of limitation, doesn't apply to the real. Electricity in the bulb is spaceless and timeless. Timeless is not continuity in flow of time. Timeless is the parameter time, which defines the duration, is absent in it. The very idea of duration doesn't apply to electricity. It applies to the bulb. Doesn't apply to the electricity. You see, we used to purchase a bulb for this infrared spectrum, infrared instrument, infrared spectroscopy instrument. We used to purchase one infrared bulb. On the bulb he used to write 1000 hours guarantee on the packet. 1000 hours guarantee. Means one spectrum you can take in 7 minutes or 8 minutes. So using this bulb, you can take so many spectra. That is the idea. It is not infrared light. Infrared light has no duration. It is the bulb which has duration. Got the point? Therefore, the embodied and the body are of two different orders. There is one more tricky point here. The embodied and the body are not of the same order of reality also. In the case of bulb and infrared, the one is material and another is energy. Both are seem to be factual. This is a fact, that is a fact. Whereas body is unreal and the embodied is real. So the order of reality is also different. So you have to expand from the unreal into the real. You have to look at the body and understand the body exists in time, whereas I am timeless. You have to understand it. Body exists in space, I am spaceless. Body is transient, I am immutable or immortal. Body is transient and mortal. I am immortal. So body is limited in space, whereas the consciousness is boundless. I am, the consciousness in the form of I am, has no boundaries. You can see it in yourself. It is boundless. So this is how you have to understand yourself. You should not fix yourself into the volume of the body. You have to understand yourself correctly. And when you want to understand yourself correctly, your fixations, your self-definitions and self-identifications come in the way. They are the obstacles, and you have to overcome those obstacles. How long? You have to constantly overcome those obstacles as long as the obstacles are present. It is like I have to tell myself that I am a human being as long as I have some confusion about myself. Once the confusion is gone, I need not tell myself, I am a human being, I am a human being. Similarly, Mahatmas reach a point of inclusivity, in which they include all. All life, I am. All consciousness, I am. All existence, I am. I am all that exists. That is called ahaṃ brahmāsmīti. You got the point. I took my time to arrive at ahaṃ brahmāsmīti. That is the Vakya. So I am discussing what are all the obstacles for this vision of ahaṃ brahmāsmīti, and how you have to overcome the negative vasanas to arrive at the real understanding called ahaṃ brahmāsmīti. You have to do that all the time. Nirantarābhyastā. That is how you realize your true self. It is not even difficult. You have to overcome some obstacles, some fixations. I was in a Vedanta Sabha, some kind of philosophy conference, and my neighbor is, the person who is sitting with me, a scholar, great scholar of Sanskrit and all that. He was a Dvaiti, Madhva. Dvaiti. I am a Dvaiti. By looking at my face, our faces, you can tell. I am the horizontal guy. Here I am a bit mild when I go back to India. So you have to impress the crowd, you know. If you go like this into that crowd, they will think some heretic person has entered into there. Whereas you put like this and this also, then I like that. So, and his is vertical. They give the lady finger, you know, that is the vertical, that kind of vertical. Because the vertical has countless varieties in that, countless. Premanandaji Maharaj vertical is different. Vaishnavacharya's vertical is different. Vaikhanasacharya's vertical is another thing it is. And then there are hybrids. These are very cunning fellows. Very cunning, I tell you. Very clever. Hybrids are there. What they do, they make a hybrid of horizontal and vertical. Look at them. Now you cannot know. Very tough, I tell you. You see, one person was walking on the footpath, going from one village to the other village. In the way, somebody met him. Aya namaskar, Brahmana. Brahmana Devata, so namaskar. Sir, what is your name? He asked this person who met him. He is a Shudra, and so paid his respects and asked him, Aapka Bhagavan Devata, Aapka Shubha Naam kya hai? What is your good name? He said, Bhadram, he said. Bhadram is my name. A very popular name. Then he was a bit doubtful. First name, last name kind of thing it is. Here they ask, what is your name? Rama. What is the last name? Why my last name? Unless you put last name also, it becomes incomplete. So therefore this person asked, which Bhadram? So this man replied, the coming village, the village that is about to come, If it is a Vaishnava village, my name will be Ramabhadram. Okay? But by chance it is not Vaishnava village. If it is a Shaiva village, my name will be Veerabhadram. That is what he told. Okay? So myself and this Dvaita scholar, we are discussing. He was frustrated with me. The Dvaita people are very frustrated with Advaita people. Really. The other day in Ramakrishna Mission, because it is Ramakrishna Mission, I went. They invited me very honored way, revered way, and so I went. The head of the Matha told, Ramakrishna Mission told me, Vishishtadvaita he, Advaita he, and now Advaita. Who is Advaita? Then he said, who else? Our Swami TV is for Advaita. So he put me there. I could not refuse. Out of love I went. I spoke for 30 minutes. Time given 30 minutes. I think I have spoken for 34 minutes. 4 minutes extra I have taken. By the time I am done, the audience are okay. Audience are clapping and happy. But the Swami, who is Vaishnava, he is very frustrated. Because they cannot digest this Advaita. This Aham Brahmasmi is not for them. It is like, it goes to the kantha and gets stuck there, doesn't go down. Suppose you are eating food, some item, and it gets stuck here. How do you feel? Very difficult, It doesn't come out, it doesn't go down. This Advaita is like that. So this Swami asked me, Yamaya, you are a great scholar of Sanskrit, this and that, you talk of science and all that. How can you be the same as God? How can you be? Then I asked, what is your problem? You tell me what is your problem. God is in Vaikuntha, you are sitting before me, how can you be the God? I understood his problem. Okay? So you locate the God, that becomes an obstacle for your understanding of Aham Brahmasmi. You got the point? Then my answer is, what you said is true, but Vaikuntha is not there. Vaikuntha is in your heart. Then he said, oh, you have interpreted it like that. Not interpretation, that is what it is. Then you tell me, the God who is married to Mother Goddess Lakshmi Devi, you are the same as God? The husband of Venkamma? You got the point? Huh? You, the fellow, the husband of Venkamma, same as God? The consort of Mother Lakshmi? That is his problem. Then I did namaskar. I cannot do anything with you now. Because this vāsanā I cannot handle. Vaikuntha I could handle. But this vāsanā, how can I handle it? So you look into your consciousness and see what are the vasanas that are coming in the way of Aham Brahmasmi. Your understanding of God itself is a problem. At the end of the day, the way you visualize God will block your vision of Aham Brahmasmi. It will not allow, it will block. Why you assume that God is married? Because you are married. That is the reason. Why God has children? Because you got children. Therefore, as long as your God is anthropomorphic, there can be no Advaita. You have to rehash your God. This problem is with all these Advaita Acharyas also. Because they first define God in a particular way. And that is the God. And they offer that God to all their Shishyas. This is the God. You worship this God. Now come to Vedanta class. Now you have to tell aham brahmasmi. What aham brahmasmi you will tell? Therefore, your understanding of God itself has to be rejigged. You have to look at it and you have to reform it. God is not a person. You think you are a person and therefore God became a person. God is not a person. If God is a person, he will be like you and me. We need not worship. One person worshipping another person doesn't get anything. We have a proverb in Telugu. When one Swami rubs with another Swami, ash will fall. Nothing else will come. So one person worshipping another person, that doesn't solve the problem of samsara. You have to re-understand God. What is God? Godliness it is. God is not a person. God is a tattvam. It is not a person. It is nameless and formless reality. That is what God is. Okay? And where is that reality, nameless and formless, in you? You bring it out, experience it, that reality, nameless and formless, again and again, nirantarābhyastā. That will dissolve the vāsanā of limitations. You experience it. So what is that tattvam of God in you? God is timeless. You look at yourself and abide as pure I am. Next verse is meditation verse. Abide as pure I am and check for yourself. Is I am time-bound or timeless? And you will realize that I am pure is timeless. Now where is time? If God is timeless, where is timeless? In you. If God is spaceless, I am is spaceless. If God is spaceless, if spaceless is God, then that God is in you. Then understand that love is God. Ishvara and Jiva, or Brahma and Jiva. Brahma is love. Attachment is Jiva. Therefore, as long as you are attached, you are Jiva, not Brahma. The moment you rise above attachment into love, love is universal. Love is unity in diversity. Love is universal. Love is not directed towards a person. The moment, or a thing. The moment it is directed towards a person or thing, it becomes attachment. It is not love anymore. Love is a scalar, not a vector. Okay? And that is love. Love is like, you just keep this illustration in your heart. Love is like the fragrance of a rose. The fragrance of a rose is not reserved for anybody. Even if that is a king, it is not reserved. Even if it is a criminal, it is not denied. The fragrance of a rose, that is love. Given to all, denied to none. Even the worst sinner gets my love. You say like that. And that love is God. If love is God, then that God is in you. Okay? Therefore, you have to understand God correctly. The timeless, the spaceless, the formless, the nameless, real consciousness, or the knowingness, the being, boundless, the love, that is God. That is how you have to define God. That God is in you, to begin with, in you, and finally, that God is you. Aham brahmasmi. Finish the verse, we are done with it. So, let us say the verse and end it. Evaṃ nirantarābhyastā brahmaivāsmīti vāsanā haratyavidyāvikṣepān rogāniva rasāyanam Next verse is a nididhyasana verse. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, you know. We will start it in tomorrow morning class. Now there is a question. So, question is Bhagavad Gita. About Sharanagati, I'll come to it. That will take some time. So, doing Shatkarmas in the present. So, Vartamanam Shatkarma. What are the Shatkarmas for a mumukshu? Six karmas, 6 rituals. I don't remember what are the 6 rituals. So, I'm not sure. I will think about it. For a mumukshu, no karmas are mandated. Whether Shat karmas or Chatursh karmas, karmas are not mandated for mumukshu. But still, I am not remembering the Shat karmas. If I remember them, then maybe I will understand what is their connection with reference to moksha. Let us leave it at that. So, God in the cosmos. God is in the cosmos. There is no coming down of God, correct? Coming down of God means what? God descending. Means God is above, He is not here. That is belief. That is religion, not philosophy. Okay? God is timeless. Where from He will descend? Spaceless, timeless, and nameless and formless. And God is love. Jnanam. Love is also jnanam. Awareness. Pure awareness is love. Therefore, there is no coming down of God. Yeah, that is true. No avatars. Then who were Krishna and Rama? Krishna and Rama were human beings like you and me. Okay? And Rama is the embodiment of dharma. He has identified himself as a son, and so he worshipped the father. He identified himself as a brother, and so he loved his brother. As a husband, he loved his wife. As a friend, he loved his friend, Sugriva. And as a king, he loved his subjects, Ramarajya. And he was a Kshatriya, son of Dasharatha. That is Rama, a human being. Krishna knew himself as Brahman, aham brahmasmi. He was a philosopher. Krishna was a philosopher. So, you see, we do not look at Krishna as Radha Krishna or Gopi Krishna. We look at Krishna as a Jagat Guru, as a philosopher. That is our Krishna, not Radha Krishna, not Gopi Krishna. Some people may have those names, please don't mind. Our Krishna is not that. Our Krishna is Gita Krishna. And Gita Krishna is a philosopher. Vande Krishnam Jagat Gurum. He is a philosopher and he was a human being, liberated philosopher. And if you study Shankara Bhashya of Gita, the Sambandha Bhashya, what they call, means the introductory Bhashya. There Shankara says, Krishna tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, you and I are one. So, Pandavanam Dhananjayaha, Gita, Vibhuti. I am Arjuna among Pandavas. If Krishna and Arjuna are one, then who is the Guru, who is the Shishya? Okay? You know what Krishna says in Shankara's words? There is no difference between you and me. You are what I am. I am what you are. Now the only difference is you do not know, I know. That is the only difference. He says that. And then he also says, if you know, you can be like me. That is the only difference. Therefore Krishna is a human being like you and me, but he understood his Atma. And he declared to himself, aham brahmasmi. That is Krishna. And Rama and Krishna are not avatars. They are human beings like you and me. And you are avatar. You know that? You are avatar. Why avatar? Because you are Brahma, now became a human being. That is the avatar. Okay? Ava niche. Tar utarna. Okay, finally, let me conclude this 1 minute is there. Be ready. Are you ready? Only 1 minute and only one statement. Are you ready? The word avatar, Sanskrit avataraha, Hindi avatar, Telugu avataramu, does not exist in Gita and does not exist in Shankara Bhashya. The word doesn't exist. Om Purnamadaḥ Purnamidam